Okay, today in our video, we're going to talk about hedging in the futures market. Now, last week was just an introduction to the market itself, so hopefully those aspects make sense. The more we're involved in the futures market, the better, hopefully, all this will make sense. But today what we wanted to do is talk about the futures market and introduce this concept of hedging. Okay, so let's get started. The idea of the futures market, this idea of hedging really is kind of very basic for the market. There are two participants, remember those. Now, the two participants are the way that we describe who is in the market. And who is in the market? Number one is going to be a speculator, and number two is going to be a hedger. These are the two participants, I should say, in the marketplace. Now, remember back in our discussion, hedgers and speculators have always been in the market. The original futures market was trading contracts out in the future. So remember we talked about that some last week. These contracts that were traded out in the future, they were kind of a way to deal with risk. Same thing of today. Now, inside of that room have always been two participants. One of those was the one that really needed the commodity to buy or sell it, and the other one was sitting there in the room and trying to take in account to what was going on and decide that, you know what, right now these prices are too low. I'm going to buy. As prices go up, they'll make money. So the idea of the speculator and the hedger have always been there. But the hedger's got these two markets. Speculator only has one. The hedger's got the cash market and the futures market. And so if I go through each one of these, it may help describe what we're doing. First is the cash market. Let's just say I'm a buyer. That's my example. So as a buyer, what's my risk? My risk is that price could go up. That's my worry. So if I'm a buyer, my risk is the price would go up. Again, the cash market's the one I'm really in. So that's kind of where I am going to start. Now, this buyer has this risk. Price going up, my problem. How can the futures market help me? Well, the futures market can help me because I am going to become a buyer today in the futures market. Remember, I've got this time problem. It's out in the future, it happens. So if I'm a buyer today, I'm considered what's to be called long. Once I have that position, my worry, if my worry in the cash market comes true, prices go up, then I would become a seller later, which allows me to buy low, sell high. That's going to give me a profit. That helps me because that profit is what offsets my risk in the cash market. So the idea is a hedger is involved in not one market, but in two, the cash market and the futures market. So that's really begins our process of talking about hedging. Let's take a look at some examples later, but this hopefully helps get it started.